The Mayflower was a sailing ship blown by winds across the sea. When long ago, a little band of pilgrims came to this new land called
America!
The pilgrims came to this new land because they wanted to be free. Free to worship God as they believed they should. They came because they wanted to make laws that would be fair and good. Laws that would treat everyone the same. That is why the pilgrims came. The pilgrims came to this new land called
America!
And they stopped in a place called Plymouth. They anchored their ship in a quiet little bay. There were no friends to greet them and no farms to feed them. Except for the ship, there was no place to stay. So the men built a long, long shelter for their first home away from home. It was called a
house.
I'm a little pilgrim
in a boat. It is so cold I should have wear my coat. When we did we will say, teach us how to gamble and teach you how to pray.
Very nice. That first winter in Plymouth was bitter cold. Both young and old were sick and scared. They feared the Indians would soon come with bows and arrows. But instead, two Indians came from deep in the forest. Here they come. Two Indians came. Squanto and Samoset came to join the pilgrims with corn and bread and pumpkins too. Okay, Indians, you ready to sing? Here we go, everybody. I'm a little Indian
on the ground. Here's my arrow, here's my bow. When we go hunting, hear me shout. Bear, buffalo, bear, watch out!
Good job. Good singing.
Squanto and Samoset came to help, bringing food to eat and seeds to grow. They were the pilgrims' very best friends that icy winter long ago. Squanto stayed with the pilgrims for many days. He taught the pilgrims the Indian ways of hunting, fishing, and farming. He taught them secrets the Indians knew. Then the pilgrims planted seeds for squash and corn and pumpkins too. When the ears of corn were ripe in the field, the pilgrims gathered the golden grain. It was time to give thanks for the food they had grown in the summer sun and the autumn rain. Let's give thanks,
Let's give thanks!
the pilgrims said. Let's have a feast and invite our friends. And so from deep in the forest, the Indians came. The chief and 90 braves. For 3 days, they celebrated the harvest eating together, and playing games in peace and friendship. Okay, boys and girls, the Bible verse.
Thanks to God the Father for everything. In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Ephesians 5:20.
Wrong song.
Please bow your heads for prayer. Jocelyn's going to pray for us.
Dear God, thank you for this day. And thank you for having a nice day. I hope we go safely back home. And I hope that we don't get scared when we go back home. Or me, because I'm going to nighttime. And thank you for the food. And thank you for mommies and daddies. And grandmas and grandpas. Bless this day, amen.
Good job, Jocelyn.
Moms and dads, I know that this time of year is a special time of year for you and your family. I hope that you will, just thank God for the blessings that He has bestowed on us so graciously, and that this is time of year with your kindergartner, that they will see how gracious our Lord is and how good He is to us. The story of Ragtag Meg is a modern day story of giving and of goodness. And the book came home a portion of the book. You can't copy the whole thing. It's out of print, so I don't feel bad about it. But I wanted you to have a little portion of the book, and it came home last week with the children. It's the story of Button Soup. It's a story of Ragtag Meg and her efforts to feed her hunger. She was hungry, and she needed food. And when she asked this little family if they could share some food with her, she's a homeless woman. And she said, "Could you help me?" And the man said no, although he had a bag full of groceries in his arms. So this is the little book that came home to you. But Ragtag Meg wasn't bothered by that, and she went ahead. But I told the children that God's Spirit, I really believe that God's Spirit told little Mandy, who was the little girl, to please go help Ragtag Meg. And little Mandy went in the house and she looked out the window and she saw Ragtag Meg still homeless, still looking for food. And then Mandy said, "Goodbye, Grandpa." And she went out to help her herself. And then with their efforts, they brought together this wonderful community and they shared a wonderful bowl of soup together. And that's what we're doing today. This morning, the children have made this wonderful bowl of soup. Everybody brought in a can of this and a can of that. They stirred up cornbread to celebrate what the first Pilgrims had. At the first feast, they had corn. The Pilgrims were introduced to corn for the first time. And so we're sharing in cornbread this morning, delicious cornbread that the students made this morning. And with the help of mommies and daddies, today we have this wonderful bowl of button soup. And someone will get the button because we started our soup with the button, and that's how